Hello and welcome to City Council Comments. I'm Steve Erickson along with Mayor Jerry Cook. Today we're talking about both the July 5th and the July 18th City Council meetings. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
We had our first meeting of the month one day late on a Wednesday because of the 4th of July, and had another great celebration here in Coon Rapids.
Oh my gosh, it was incredible. There's never been that many people in one spot in Coon Rapids. It was phenomenal. And the fireworks were fabulous, and they brought Rocky Lynn hasn't had a concert in town in 3 years, and he played the 2 hours leading up to the fireworks. He worked with our pyro tech, I think they call those guys, Josh, I think his name is. Yeah. And he said, I want to keep playing when you start the fireworks. So he was still doing the national anthem, and it was just great. Nice. It was fabulous.
And thankfully, the storms held off until about an hour after the fireworks ended, but it was cool, some of those shots we saw with lightning in the distance.
Yeah, it really set the bar. You know, it was fabulous fireworks, and then God's got his lightning show going in the background. It was fabulous.
Mother Nature brought her own fireworks. Thankfully, she waited, and there was actually some areas of town, northern part, I know my neighborhood, there was garbage cans like blown over, you know, so we must have had some pretty strong winds that still came through some areas of town that night.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, not a lot of damage compared to the storm a month before that.
No, we got the whole thing in. I mean, from that Sunday morning firecracker, 5K, 10K fun run, to the craft show, the car show on Sunday, to I don't remember what happened on Monday, to...
We had the parade.
Oh, that's right. The parade was Monday night. It was fabulous. The weather was perfect, and everything was just marvelous.
All right. Well, one more year. They'll be planning already probably for next year's celebration soon.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
All right. Let's move into our business here. We're going to first off start talking about the Tuesday, July 18th council meeting. One of the first items we want to talk about there is a resolution establishing tax increment financing district. This is for the Riverdale Station apartments, and also the council approved the preliminary plat for this. And this is the TOD area we're talking about up by the Riverdale North Star Station.
Yep, TOD, Transit Oriented Development, and it's it's the, I think, oh gosh, I forgot already. Is it 15 acres, 12 acres? Right next to the North Star Station. And it's been vacant for a long time. It's been available for a long time. And Sherman and Associates brought forward a proposal for apartments, and Coon Rapids hasn't had any new ones in over 20 years, and you've got millennials looking to rent apartments, and these are going to be just really nice. And Sherman and Associates brings in a fabulous reputation with themselves. They were ranked one of the top landlords, property owners in Minneapolis, and they previously owned properties in Coon Rapids here, and they're great landlords. They reinvest, they screen their tenants. We just have no issues with them. So it's going to be a beautiful project. And what we did is we approved the TIF district. It's going to be a 10-year TIF to basically kind of help finance the land for them, and then we approved the preliminary plat.
Okay. Is that basically, for people that don't understand TIF, that's basically the property taxes they would normally pay?
Tax increment financing. There's a district that's set up. So for the first 10 years, right now, there's a value on that land, and that tax amount is X. Mm-hmm. With millions of dollars worth of buildings on there, the tax capacity, the tax will be Y. And so for the first 10 years, they will pay at X land value, and then recover that difference to use towards paying for the project. Yeah, my wheels came off my explanation somewhere in there, but basically we're working with that difference between the current land value and the completely improved value, and we're giving them a pass basically for 10 years on that.
All right, and then the preliminary plat was also approved. This is for 251 unit apartment complex.
Correct.
2
buildings, and then a 3,600 square foot retail building that'll be kind of on the corner near where you enter the site.
Okay.
20% affordable. That's what makes them eligible for the TIF. And if you have not seen the project, go online and look at it. Yeah. It really is attractive. It's really going to be a nice value add.
All right. So they still need to come back for some further approvals, correct, before the construction begins?
Probably.
Okay. Preliminary plat seems like there's another step still for like project approval.
Yeah, like site plan or something, sure.
but they have drawings, like you said, of what the buildings will look like and all of that.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
all right. We'll move along here to an appeal of a planning commission decision. This was for site plan for a parking lot expansion at Adams Elementary.
Yeah, that was kind of a tough situation. The school expanded a while back, and now they've recognized they need additional parking, and they wanted to increase the student drop-off area, because right now parents are dropping kids off on 89th and over on the cul-de-sac and everywhere else. So the school district is all about making it as safe as possible for the kids. And unfortunately, there's several homes on the cul-de-sac that back up to the school that several of them, when they purchased the home, were under the understanding that the playground behind them in that area was parkland. And it never was. It was always part of the school, and it was the school's playground equipment. And so as the school is working on removing that and expanding their parking, the neighbors are frustrated because they thought that was going to be a continual park there. So they were concerned about their property values. They were concerned about the headlights across their homes when the cars come around that turn. They're concerned about after hours, kids racing in that parking lot. There was some concerns with drainage. They had multiple concerns. They appealed it to the Planning Commission. The school district addressed many of their concerns. The school district met with them, added some trees. Our city engineer, assistant engineer, met with them to talk about drainage, to make sure there wasn't going to be a problem with that. They were concerned with their property values. This is going to impact our property values. So our assessing department got involved and said, well, the properties on this side of the school that don't abut that land and playground have the same value as yours. So although we didn't give them an opportunity to speak at the council meeting, so it felt like they didn't get their full appeal process, they really did. I mean, most of us on the council watched the Planning Commission. We certainly read all of their written notes, all of the written information and the responses. And so it's, at the end of the day, I'm afraid that they felt like they still weren't heard, but it was 6-1 to move forward and deny that appeal from them and let the school continue with the expansion.
Okay, but there was another plan following the Planning Commission meeting, correct, that they came back with?
So I believe that was where they just revised and added some trees to it. Okay. I don't recall what else was done in that revised plan, but you're correct. We approved the revised plan at the council meeting.
Okay, to try to give a buffer between the parking lot and the neighborhood there.
Yeah, they added like 7 more pine trees or something in there.
Okay, so that'll go forward at this point.
So it'll go forward.
All right. Do we know yet when they're going to do construction? Are they trying to do it this summer? I imagine.
I would imagine they're going to
sooner than later.
Try and get it done before school starts, but I don't know.
All right. Council considered a resolution and adopted a resolution granting preliminary approval to the Drake MDG Limited Partnership. They're seeking state funds to purchase and rehab the Drake Apartments.
Yeah, so the Drake Apartments, a lot of folks don't even know about them. They're down off Egret near the entrance to the Coon Rapids Dam. And it's just kind of a quiet little unassuming buildings down there. And the last time they had a full remodel was 2001. Same owners, they came back and they are just asking us to help them get their funding so that they can do another complete makeover. I believe it was roofs, and each unit was going to get about $25,000 in remodeling. And it's just, there's no risk to the city. We're kind of the conduit for their financing. They still are responsible for it, and the benefit for the city is improved housing stock. Anytime we can get our housing stock improved, it's a good thing. Are you looking at that?
I was trying to find it as well too. The renovation they're talking about is to spend approximately $1.3 million, focusing on replacing windows, extending the life of the roofs, updating the entrances to both buildings, upgrading the heating system to a higher efficiency system, as well as kitchen and bathroom upgrades. So quite a few things going on there. And as you said, the biggest point here being the city has to approve this, correct, but the city is not on the hook for any of this.
Right. Yeah. The 48 affordable units that are covered by the Section 8 Rental Assistance Program. They were built in 1977, renovation in 2001. Yes. So I think we covered it.
So the council has to adopt this resolution,
Correct.
but again, the city is not on the hook for any of this financing.
Right, exactly.
All right. Council introduced an ordinance amending Class B off-sale liquor regulations. And I know we had some people here for this that aren't necessarily happy with this.
This is a tough one. So Coon Rapids, forever ago owned liquor stores, and then they sold the liquor stores, and there was only, I believe, 3 licenses in town or something. And then later it was expanded to 5, and now we currently have 8 Class A liquor licenses in town. And the Class A is your primary business is selling intoxicating liquor. And they have a 1-mile perimeter, a protected area around them. In 2001, Costco wanted to come to town, so a Class B license was created that allowed Costco to operate and one more operate on a Class B license, which is basically wine and beer. And then there was a 50,000. It had to be your secondary business. Your primary business had to be at least 50,000 square feet, and then there was a 2-mile radius. There couldn't be another one within 2 miles. And it all kind of feels kind of arbitrary when you've got a very dense market area like Riverdale. So you had one Class A on the north end, one Class A on the south end, Class A or Class B and Costco in the middle, and then nobody ever picked up our other Class B license that was available. So when I first came on the council, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, I would hear from folks, why isn't our Costco like other Costcos? And so I started looking into it, and after doing a lot of research and starting to kind of poll the council members, it's just been a very long process to make any changes there. And it's really funny because I didn't even hear from Costco for the first couple of years. I mean, I'm just asking questions and I'm hearing from residents. So we had a meeting, we invited all the Class A operators in. None of them are happy with any expansion. And so then we waited, and then we had another one, and again, none of them are happy with expansion. So then we just decided to address the B license and leave the A licenses exactly as they are. And I think the reason they're not happy right now, other than it's an expansion, is we're looking at reducing the primary business of the Class B from 50,000 square feet to 25,000 square feet. So it would offer more opportunities for people to open a liquor store as a secondary business. And the ordinance is listed as retail. One of the things that I would like to see, and it seemed like there was a consensus of the council, is if there's a way to make that 25,000 square feet of grocery. Because nobody is saying we want more retail. I'm hearing we want more grocery stores. So this was a way to incentivize like a Trader Joe's or a Fresh Time, Hy-Vee, anybody else to come to town. So we introduced it, and the Class A operators were there, and they would still like us to hear from them. And I'll wait and see what council wants to do. I can't imagine anything new coming from them other than they don't want us to do it. And I'm not sure what the alternative is. Unless we keep it at 50,000 square feet and move ahead that way, which wouldn't be the end of the world. It just wouldn't incentivize like a Fresh Time or a Trader Joe's. So.
All right. So this was just an introduction. This will come back to council at our first meeting in August?
Yes.
Is that what it sounds like?
Correct.
Which is on a Wednesday night, Wednesday, August 2nd.
Yes.
All right. So we'll know more next month.
Yeah, and right now they're trying to address that language a little bit, whether you leave it at retail or whether you can make it grocery or perishable. And we'll see what happens.
All righty. Well, that's all we have on our July 18th meeting. We're going to move back now to our first meeting of the month, which again was on a Wednesday following the 4th of July. One of the first items we want to talk about there is a resolution that was adopted awarding the contract for Coon Rapids Boulevard and Main Street. This is an LED lighting project.
Yep. When you drive through Riverdale after dark, it's dark. It's dark. We've got those little lanterns up there along Main Street that they're attractive, I guess, but they don't throw any light off. They throw one spot of light down on the road. So fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, the base is rusted out. So they actually have to be replaced now. So we've got the opportunity to replace all those streetlights from over on the Main Street Bridge over to the Round Lake Boulevard, somewhere, I don't remember exact boundaries there. And at the same time, we've been working on Coon Rapids Boulevard down from around Springbrook Drive, from like University over to 93rd or Flintwood or somewhere down there.
Yep.
Because down there, when all those buildings were put in, the Gone buildings down there, they had these little white globe lanterns that were really 1980s. And the wiring wasn't in conduit, the wiring was rotting off, the lanterns would fail, you couldn't get parts, they'd have to pirate other ones. So we had two major corridors that needed new lights, and we were trying to, there was some consideration of keeping a different style light down there that would make it feel more neighborhood-like or something. At the end of the day, we're ending up with basically the same style light down there and up on Main Street, because that's what's going to work. That's what's going to put out the light, and they should be very attractive.
All right. So ProTech Lighting Solutions was awarded the contract. Looks like about $250,000 for Main Street, about $90,000 for Coon Rapids Boulevard. There was also some discussion about alternatives with banner arms and poles.
So there were two sets of options available, and one was banner arms for the poles, so that you could hang, little community banners or seasonal banners. And then the other one is, do you want GFCI outlets on any of the, you want power on them. And so the banners, I think there was a consensus that the banners should be there, whether it should be every other one. I think we ended up with them on all of them.
Yeah.
And then the GFCI outlets, although we really weren't sure what you would do with them, the decision, I think, was to leave them near the intersections, just in case there was ever any lighting or things added. If nothing else, kids can recharge their phones while they're waiting for the lights to change. I don't know.
Lots of stuff there. All right, so that contract was awarded, and that project is being done, I think, this fall. So.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice to have. To me, when you've got lights just means welcome. Come on in. It's open. It's safe. And Riverdale, every time I'd go up there, especially when days are short and it's getting near the holidays and it's just so dark up there, this is going to be really nice and welcoming, and it's going to be a really good project.
We're saying holiday lights could be an option too at those intersections.
Yeah, possibly. I never know what's PC, what you can say. So
as long as we say holiday lights,
all right, okay,
I think we're okay.
All right, okay.
All right. So again, those will be installed this fall. We had another awarding of a contract at that meeting. This was for Boulevard Park.
Boulevard, or whatever you want to call it.
The Ice Arena Park.
Yeah.
It's up in that area.
Yeah. So we ordered the splash pad, and what else did we order? I think, is this the one where we still have to do the labor, or did we do the full?
The splash pad and playground, it says, will be installed by the general contractor under the contract.
Okay, all right. So
but I believe we already purchased some other equipment previously.
Yeah, I know we kind of split it up to save some money. We pre-ordered some stuff. But the bottom line is they're able to start now on that playground and splash pad near the ice center. They had to wait until after the 4th of July celebration to get done. And there's going to be a trail that goes through there, and it's going to be really nice. And it's going to be really attractive because when it's not used as a splash pad, there will be LED lighting, so you can have the fountains go with the LED lights, and if you have events up there, it'll be really attractive.
All right, so it looks like Custom Builders Incorporated, if I have this correct, won the bidding process on that. They're out of Cold Spring. They were the lowest bidder, and again, some of that was purchased last year at about a 50% discount, some of the equipment. So it's kind of being done in pieces here. We've been talking about this several times now, but the park will be under construction soon, correct?
Yeah, my understanding was they were going to be starting right after the 4th.
Yeah.
And now they just finished safety camp there, so maybe now. I don't know.
We'll see some work there soon, and again, that should be open or be substantially complete by this fall, but the water feature won't be able to be turned on in October or November, probably.
Yeah, I think Tim told us they'll be testing it this fall. So if we want to come out, and his words were "get blue lips," feel free to come out and run through the splash pad.
But again, in time for next spring and the summer season, that thing will be in operation, and it'll be fun to see people out there.
Oh, it's
and
going to
what
be
they think of it.
It's going to be awesome. And imagine next 4th of July, after the runners get done with the 5K or the 10K, to be able to go through and run through the splash pad.
Yeah.
And it's a freshwater splash pad, so you don't have to have the showers and things beforehand. The water isn't recycled. The water will go down into the I don't know what they call it, but the water will be held and then it will be repurposed, I think, through the irrigation or something.
All right. And again, we're still waiting on a name. I know that process is continuing here. You guys are sort of reviewing those names at this point.
Yep, so our parks, so there was a contest, there was a naming contest, there were several names that came in. The Parks Commission kind of combined a couple of them to make a suggestion to the council, and the council kind of liked what they came up with, but then had some other ideas. So right now, some proposals are sitting in front of our communications folks just to kind of see what could be marketed best. There's some desire to have Coon Rapids in the name of the park, because this is going to be a destination park, and Sand Creek Park is a destination park, and so we've had a tournament at Sand Creek this weekend. I would like, when we've got 30,000 people coming to our 4th of July celebration, I would love people to be able to say, we're going to Coon Rapids blank park.
Boulevard Park.
Coon Rapids Boulevard Park, Coon Rapids Independence Park, Coon Rapids, whatever. But I love it when people say Coon Rapids when they're describing where they're going, or, it's all about marketing.
Yeah, and we don't have any, I'm thinking off the top of my head here, parks that have the name Coon Rapids in it.
About as close as we've got, I think, is Lions Park. Because people will say Coon Rapids Lions Park because there's a Lions Park in every community.
Okay.
Or most communities, a lot of communities.
I call it Lions Coon Creek Park, but.
Well, okay.
So we'll see here. Again, stay tuned on the name.
Yep.
We'll hopefully know more about that here in the coming months.
Yeah. It wasn't something that needed to be done right now.
Right.
So we want to get it right, and we're going to be working on it for a while yet.
All right, sounds good. Council adopted several ordinances related to multi-unit waste and recycling collection. And this basically impacts apartment buildings in the city?
54 units with centralized trash collection. And I'd like a do-over on it.
Yes.
I don't think we made the decision. I don't think we had enough information, and I don't think the people impacted by this had enough notice on it, nor were they part of the conversation enough. So the decision that's been made is the policy will be there will be no enforcement of this. Even though it goes into effect September 1st, there will be no enforcement. The council will meet again, and we're going to meet with the multifamily housing court folks, the building owners, we're going to, and the haulers, and try and figure out if there's a compromise we can come to. A full rescission, wouldn't surprise me on this.
Okay, but this was basically to require the same amount of recycling containers as there is garbage, so a 1-to-1 ratio.
So if you have a 6-yard waste dumpster, then you need to have a 6-yard recycling container, and that recycling needs to be picked up at least once per week. Maybe your waste gets picked up 3 times a week, but your recycling has to be picked up at least once a week rather than every other week.
Okay.
And as I was driving around looking at the units, talking to drivers, talking to folks, what I found out was many of the buildings, the folks they're not into recycling. And it's really tough to get them to do that. Yeah. So you end up with your recycling bins trashed. It's tough. And I think we stepped into the middle of a situation between property owners and haulers, and we shouldn't be there. That's not where we should be.
And you also have a lot of moving in and out too of things and garbage.
Yeah, well, they said too. At the end of every month, we have, every unit that's emptied, you've got the equivalent of a 1,000 square foot home that's being emptied out. Right. So we need a lot of dumpster space. All right. So there's a lot of things to be considered.
So there's going to be a work session on that? Is that what it sounds like?
Work session or some sort of a meeting with them. I don't know what it looks like yet.
Okay. All right, we only have about 4 minutes left. We'll quickly move along to planned unit development, an amendment to the Gateway Commerce Center planned unit development. Seems like we've been here before, talked about this site off of Highway 10 in Hanson a lot.
Yeah, this is very contentious. This is the Gateway properties on the north side of 10, west side of Hanson, where the new McDonald's, new Taco Bell, new Holiday are. At the end of that, there was grand illusions of hotel, fancy restaurants, everything else there. And that there just hasn't been a demand for it. The hotel market has been dramatically changing in town. We had 2,200 new rooms south of here, and we had one hotel that wanted to come in there earlier, and they said we can't build on that soil. Well, so we've got Walser owns the last 10 acres on the end of the street, and they're going to apparently build their Nissan dealership there, so we should be seeing that soon. And Mr. Sutton, I think his name was.
Yes, that sounds familiar.
Was awarded the new Honda franchise for this region, and Honda wanted to be in Coon Rapids, and that was the only spot we had. And so that's going to be a Honda dealership. So literally that strip along the Highway 10 will be 2 car dealerships. And I think that's a good fit because we don't have to worry about things shifting on that soil, and it's going to be a good fit.
And like you said, market conditions have changed, but one of the biggest things is these companies coming in, they don't want to build on this soil because it's costing them a lot more money to do the necessary work to build those big buildings.
Everybody that's built there has spent a lot of extra money to build there because of the soil conditions. And frankly, a Honda dealership and that new Nissan dealership, well, we'll save that part because that'll be later. But those are good jobs. Yeah. I mean, those are good jobs. Yeah.
So what's been done at this point is the Nissan dealership or the Walser, was it Walser, right? Was
yep.
last year.
Yep.
About a year ago, you amended the planned unit development to allow that dealership there.
Yep.
This amends the planned unit development again to allow for the second dealership,
yep.
which is a Honda, but they both still have not come forward with official plans for the site.
Right. We don't have final site plans. Correct.
But we think Honda's quick to do it. I would imagine Walser's waited a year, that they're maybe ready to go soon too.
I would think so. I think they see some advantages to moving sooner than later as long as Honda's coming in now.
All right, so stay tuned. We'll see more on that. Quickly want to mention a contract that was considering approval of a contract with the Minnesota Blue Ox. This is for usage of the Coon Rapids Ice Center. This is pretty exciting.
This is really exciting. Yeah, Bruce Boudreau, coach of the Wild, is the majority owner of the Blue Ox.
We have 1 minute.
I thought you were correcting me. I thought I had that
you're
right.
Good. 1 minute.
So at any rate, we signed a contract where they're going to be using the Coon Rapids Ice Center for their practice in off-peak times, and this will be their home ice for their home games. And I think it's great. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be some great hockey in town, and it should be an affordable price point for our residents and the area.
Some exciting opportunities for kids that play hockey. I know they're going to camp coming up here in late July. They're going to start playing in September, and they're renting the ice time then. They're paying the price for the ice time.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. There's no gift here. I mean, they're paying for it, and I think it's a win for us.
All right. We're out of time. Thanks for being here today, Jerry. Thank you at home for watching, and we'll see you back here again after our 2 meetings in August.